Hi there, welcome to Grain TV. It's Thursday, August 25th. I'm Kevin McNew, and a punishing day in soybeans. Let's take a look at the Grain Edge trading platform and see where we closed. In Chicago, corn was down 3 3/4, wheat off 2 3/4, but the big news was the massive sell-off in beans, losing 30 cents a bushel. News today was pretty much positive in terms of export sales, but overall the market continues to focus on oversupply problems, and especially as we wrap up the Pro Farmer Crop Tour, which is finding no real significant problems out there in the fields. I think the market is starting to give in to the possibility that we're going to have a very, very large crop. Other news before we get into some of the details today, let's talk about, first of all, central banks and their meeting that's going on in Jackson Hole, Wyoming this week. That will be watched by market observers. Fed Chairman Yellen is expected to make a statement on Friday as a result of that meeting. So currency markets are waiting in anticipation of her results, as are equity markets. Other news out, Russia's Soviet Econ consulting group has raised their wheat forecast for Russia from 71.3 previously to 73 million metric tons currently. That's more bad news for the wheat market, which we continue to struggle with in terms of oversupply. And in a global perspective, the International Grains Council came up with their revised monthly forecast, again pointing to big wheat stocks, suggesting that wheat production in the world will be 743 million metric tons compared to their previous forecast of 735. Likewise, they have boosted their corn forecast largely as a result of the good conditions in the U.S. Their overall world corn production number is at 1.03 billion tons, up from 1.017 billion tons. Pro Farmer is on the last leg of their tour. They're touring in eastern Iowa, and the other side of the tour is in southern Minnesota. They will wrap up tomorrow and report final numbers after the market close on Friday. But overall today, they see pretty good prospects. Corn yield in Iowa is expected to be above average in the eastern half of the state. Soybean potential is roughly on par with last year. In southern Minnesota, there is a bit of problem with stress from excess moisture and hot nights, so that may lead to a little bit of a trim in the corn numbers, but soybean prospects are in line with last year. So overall, I think if we had to summarize this tour, we may, be able to say it might be hard pressed to get the 175 corn yield of USDA, but certainly not any sort of significant major red flags here on a national perspective. Certainly there are some states where we can bicker about USDA's number, like Ohio, maybe South Dakota, but overall it's going to be hard pressed to see anything other than record yields this year based on what Pro Farmer's finding in the field. Let's talk about weekly export sales. Those came out this morning to at least some good news, especially in new crop deals for corn and beans, where we saw corn numbers top 1 million metric tons, bean numbers topping 1.9 million metric tons, well above expectations. Wheat was disappointing, coming in at only 379,000 versus 400 to 600 expected. Let's talk about where we stand in terms of new crop commitments so far. We're almost to the end of the old crop marketing year, which will conclude at the end of this month. So, how are we faring on our new crop deals so far? We've had a really big or powerful acceleration in new crop deals in corn and in soybeans both. Let's take a look first of all at corn. You can see in green, the line here shows new crop sales for the 2016 marketing year. And in comparison, we're looking at new crop deals back in 2015. And what you can see is obviously we normally get an acceleration in the summer as people start to book forward into the new crop year, but we've seen a very strong acceleration in corn. Strong sales have been sort of the mainstay here, and we are up 68% versus the same period last year. Beans, the percentage-wise, is not quite as impressive as corn, up 48% or 49%, but nonetheless, it is a strong number on top of last year's strong number. So that is still encouraging. This week's 1.9 million metric ton sales is a good number and supportive. But obviously right now the market is focused on big production numbers. So right now production is the headline grabber, but the good news is there is still underlying demand. Let's take a look at the trade action in soybeans today. It was very brutal, especially if you were on the long side of this market. If we look at the 5-minute bar chart here from Grain Hedge's trading platform, you can see only a brief instance where we turned higher after the announcement of the export sales deal. After that, it was pretty much downhill all the way. We did try to hold resistance in that 981 mark. That 981, 980 area had been sort of a launching off point after the crop report back on August 12th. So that seemed to prove to be at least some support, but at the end of it, selling was just too big to hold that line, and we broke below it in closing on the low of the day. Looking ahead, I wouldn't be surprised to see us make a run at the August 12th low at 962. That would probably be the next bellwether mark to take a watch for. So keep that in mind. This is a market that probably needs to continue to go lower, as does corn, in the face of what looks to be big crops come this fall. That's all we've got today on Grain TV. As always, visit us online at grainhedge.com to see how we can help you in your own grain marketing situation. As a Grain Hedge trading client, you'll get our technical alerts email first thing every trading day. Technical Alerts is a powerful system that generates quality trading opportunities. Each trading opportunity shows a chart and analysis providing clear price targets and risk potential. Technical Alerts look at historical chart formations and compare the current environment to the past to form concrete trading recommendations. The commodities covered by Technical Alerts includes grains, livestock, crude oil, currencies, bonds, and metals. Start your trading day with the most powerful insight into market direction and improve your trading today. Sign up at grainhedge.com to become a client.